Right. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get officially started. The way this is going to work is I'm going to give you a quick reminder of our admissions process and deadline, and then we'll jump right into financial aid, which is what you're all here for. Um, I'll introduce myself. My name is Aaron. I work on the enrollment team for Minerva, and I live in Mexico City. I'm going to let Jerome introduce himself as well.
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for having it being here. My name is Jerome Holloway. I'm the financial analyst here at Minerva University. So I'll be here to help out with any financial aid questions, all finance related questions in general. And then I'll pass it to Lila as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Lila. I'm based in Denmark. I am the financial aid coordinator here at Minerva University. So if you guys are emailing the new student aid email, which Jerome will share later on in the presentation, I'm the one who's going to be answering that. So if you guys have any questions, I'm also here for you.
Yeah, right. So let's get going. As you probably know already, our admissions has three main sections where we look at who you are, how you think, and what have you achieved. If you guys have already done this process, we'll just go over it quickly. Or if you guys are joining the session to apply for the next cycle, this is a little sneak peek of what's to come. For part one, we're basically looking at basic information of who you are, your academic history, yourself, where you've been, where you're from. Part two is our response to standardized testing. Here is where we try to look at your ability to process information in different ways, right? So we'll challenge you on creativity, on reasoning, on expression, on maths. The idea is to get to know how you think, how you process information. And then part three is where you really tell us who you are personally. This is where you can stand out, share your accomplishments, and tell us what motivates you more than just required or mandatory classwork. Here, we want to see what you do outside of school, what you do outside of your comfort zone. How are you following your passions, etc. I don't want to focus too much on the accomplishment section, but this is basically our application process. It is free to apply, and it's a process that's very different to applying to other universities. So definitely do read up on it if you're applying for regular decision, or if you've already applied to early action, that's also perfect as well. Just as a quick reminder, this is what the admissions calendar looks like. Um, so early action just passed this Saturday. Some of you maybe in this session may have been given an extension. Um, if not, regular decision one is available until January 13. So you're still with a lot of time for you to complete the application, for you to send in all of your documents, complete the challenges, and tell us about your accomplishments. We're really excited to uh, see your applications come in over the next couple of weeks as well. Right, let's jump into why we're really here. Financial aid at Minerva. Jerome, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. If you can go to the next slide, starting here. So for the 26-27 academic year, our cost of attendance will be the tuition will be 29,800, housing will be 18,400, student services fee will be 2,400, and that subtotal will come out to that 50,600 you see. Here are our estimated living costs as well that are not paid directly to Minerva. So it's $5,600, and then that'll equate to the total cost of attendance for that 52,600 you see at the bottom. Next slide. So applying for financial aid. So students with demonstrated financial need may be eligible to receive financial aid. Minerva does not offer full ride packages, and our admissions policy is need aware. So we have three components of our financial aid packages. We have low interest loans, which are fixed amount student loans, interest only payment while you're in school. And then you'll have the repayment plan once you graduate. Work study program, this is our term time employment position in the university to aid students with living expenses. And then we also have scholarship grants, which are need-based aid given to students based on assessed family conditions. So those are three components of financial aid. You'll have your EFC, which is our expected family contribution, will be something that you pay out of pocket from you and your family. And then we'll have the three different parts of financial aid to cover the rest if it's applicable. And then next slide. Yep, perfect. So applying for financial aid. So there's kind of like this three-step process. So you have your CSS profile, which is our basic financial aid package form as a dependent. You have your financial aid questionnaire to help you determine your financial aid need. And then you have to upload the required documents, which are tax return, W-2s, or any foreign country equivalent and bank statements. So as you see the link here to apply for financial aid, and then also we have the eligibility requirements. So you'll have to complete all your documentation on the financial aid portal by the posted deadline. I want to emphasize by the posted deadline. We are really making sure that we are keeping you guys accountable when it comes to deadlines and making sure that you're getting all that information in on time. So please, please do not hold off on this. Make sure you're doing your best to gather all that information and contact us early if you have questions. So that way we can answer those questions. You can get the right documentation, and then we can go from there. And then you'll make sure you submit all the financial aid documents as required, including flags from the financial aid team. And I'll go over flags in later slides. And then also making sure you just completed your application to Minerva as well.
Yeah, guys, super important. The financial aid application is not something you can do in 10, 15 minutes. Make time to get the documents, make time to submit everything you need, make time for questions because you will have them. I can guarantee that. So definitely take a screenshot of this page, memorize the 3 steps that you have to do, and make sure you're completing everything. Financial aid is for you guys, and it's an advantage that you're applying to be able to finance your education.
Absolutely. And then we have the financial aid calendar. So applying for financial aid is a process that involves an application and various supporting documentation. Students must submit all necessary documents, as mentioned before. All financial aid applications are due 1 week after the admission cycle deadline, which is in which you applied. And again, we recommend applying for the financial aid early. Ideally, the early action and regular decision 1 cycles to increase your chances at securing a comprehensive financial aid package. Also, we have the early action, regular decision 1 and regular decision 2 deadlines here. So again, screenshot, take note of those. You can also find these deadlines on our website as well. So here's just an example of what the financial aid portal would look like for you, and just applying in general. You'll have your submit by date, your notification date, your name, the season that you are applying for, and then you'll click that financial aid button at the top right. So what will you need to submit your financial aid document? So you'll need your CSS profile. We have our Minerva school code here, 6033. Please make sure you take note of that, as you'll need that when you fill out your College Board application. You'll need your tax returns, income records, assets and liabilities, which is your details and documentation within that, bank statements, and your passport and or government ID. And again, you can refer to the College Board if you need more information about what you need to submit. So the Financial Aid Center. So you'll have your student profile. So this will be your qualitative background. Most important question is a summary of your family's financial situation in your own words. So this section will allow you to write down anything that maybe you submit documentation wise that may not be able to be presented within that documentation. So you'll be able to write as much as you want in that section, and then you can tell us about your family financial situation. Also, you have the parent profile, which is the quantitative information. So, these are, supplements from the CSS profile, but we'll need tax form for 2023, 2024, and 2025 if available. Also, 12 months of bank statements from all accounts, 3 months of income verification. So this can be a pay slip, pay stub. If your family, for instance, can submit any type of verification for income, or if they have any tax forms, anything of that nature. And then next slide. Tax returns. So for the financial aid team, we're looking for documents that verify annual gross income, withholdings, in particular tax withholdings. So also, we understand that some students and some families do not have tax return incomes, as some countries do not provide tax returns. So please reach out to New Student Aid at minervauniversity.edu if you're unsure. Also, we can take letters from employers that is preferred. And then also for bank statements, you can use those and you'll highlight the income that comes in each month for that bank statement. So if you don't have any tax returns, no need to panic or worry. We're here to help you, but we also take other forms of documentation. So for the 12-month bank statements, we'll need an itemized list showing each transaction for each month. You'll highlight the larger than average expenses and income and provide explanations for each. So for instance, if you're, let's say your family's, has a constant income, constant bank statements, and then, for some reason we see something that's, 50% more than what is usual on a month-to-month basis, that's something you would highlight. You would explain like, hey, family emergency, family medical issues, or anything like that, or maybe anything that you may need to provide us, we would like to know. Over explaining is definitely better than not explaining enough. That way we can we don't have to bother you all the time, continually contacting you. That way we can just do your financial aid package and then hopefully be able to give you a result. Also, if your parents do not have bank accounts, please have them write a letter explaining how your family keeps their money. For example, in cash, savings that your family may have, outside family members who may be helping you, and also just how they're able to support your family when large or expected expenses arise. So please also provide an outline for a monthly budget for your family. We also accept statements from non-traditional fund accounts such as PayPal or your local equivalent. This document should be typed, signed by the parent, and uploaded as a PDF to the Financial Aid Center. For income statements, these are documents that show monthly income and any withholding for 3 months. You can get these from employers, from payroll. Also, we accept three-month bank statements showing income. So that kind of goes back to, kind of like the substitution. If you don't have a pay stub or anything like that, you can also show us 3 months worth of bank statements. That way, in the bank statements, we can see like, hey, this is the income that's coming in on a monthly basis. And the parent offer. So this is a very important one as well, as we see some students who may be slightly confused or not understand this question. So you have two parent offers that really yet that you answer. You have your parent offer within the CSS profile, which is College Board, and then you have your parent offer which is in the My Minerva app. And so it's very important that you make sure these numbers are the same. So parent offers are what your family thinks that you can pay out of pocket for Minerva. In the financial aid application, we ask you to provide us with the parent offer and where that amount is coming from. So for instance, if you say, I think my parents and I think we can pay $10,000 to Minerva. We would like to know where that $10,000 is coming from. It can be 5,000 from checking, 5,000 from savings, equating to that 10,000. It could be completely $10,000 in savings or other. If you have, a mentor who is willing to pay or anything of that nature, then we just would like to know that so that way we can understand where that money is coming from as well. Once you answer this, please provide documentation as well. So if you're able to provide a screenshot of the savings account or a screenshot of the checking income, and that'll be sufficient. But also, if you cannot provide documentation, please write a letter notating the amount you can pay. So if for some reason you don't have that money at the moment or anything like that, but you plan to have it, that way you can write a letter, make sure it's signed by your parent, guardian, or the person providing those funds, and that way we can accept that as documentation as well. And for the non-custodial independent status, so financial aid awards are based on family income. All students who are under 26 years of age who are not emancipated or married will need to submit their parents or legal guardians information. If your parents' family situation does not abide by these two statuses, which are married or divorced/separated, please reach out to financial aid. We can help you change that status for you within your application. Make sure you please correct the please select the correct information. It's very important. Otherwise, we'll have to withdraw your application and you have to restart. and that'll affect the timing and decision for how much aid is available at that time. Formatting, we prefer PDF documents only for documents. Pictures, for instance, for photos, your assets, bank accounts, or anything like that is just fine. Please name your documents in English consistently. For example, translated tax document and the original tax document would be great. And additional notes for anything that you may need. Please do not upload any Word documents, Excel, PowerPoints. Please don't label your files in a language other than English, if you can. And also do not upload handwritten documents. Please type out everything and then make sure there's a signature as well to confirm that. And then, as I mentioned before, I'll get back to the flag process. So here we are. So the review process kind of goes like this. You'll submit your application, and your whole application will kind of like turn this orangish yellow color. And that means the financial aid team will review and get back to you if we have any further questions. So if you see on your end that your financial aid is, kind of blank on your end, or it's blue, which means open, that means that you will make sure that you need to get all your information in and click submit. And then also a flag. So a flag is basically when you submit your complete application, the financial aid team reviews it. And then once we review it, let's say we have a question about a certain section within your financial aid app, then that way we will flag it. And that flag will turn red within your application. And then that way you'll actually get an email from us saying like, hey, the financial aid team has a question for you. And then you'll answer that question, and then you'll resubmit that section of the application. So please make sure you're checking your email regularly. You guys will be college students eventually, so very important that you're checking your email regularly just for this, but also just in the future as you'll become a Minervan student. And then the approved. So the section or the entire app has been approved for final review. This does not mean like yes you've gotten into Minerva. It just means that hey, financial aid said everything is good for you, everything's sufficient, and we are good to go. And a decision will be made eventually. And then I also see a lot of questions, and we'll get to those at the end. So bear with me. So some key tips for financial aid, make sure you apply by the deadline, even if you're not sure you'll need it. Very important that you apply for financial aid. Make sure everything you submit is in your local currency, and do not worry, we will convert it. It's just very important that you make that currency change within the app. And as we said before, do not leave it for the last minute. It could take weeks to gather all the documentation. Provide unofficial translations. Annotated PDFs are sufficient. Provide clear and consistent information. Divergences across the CSS profile and the financial aid center will raise flags and cause delay. And also, the main one, be honest and transparent. If we find out anything is fraudulent or you're not telling the truth in any type of way, financial aid may be removed in its entirety, and your admissions application may be rescinded as well. So please be honest, please be transparent, and we're here to help you every step of the way. Just make sure that you are reaching out to us. So also there are teams working to support you on both sides, the admissions and the financial aid applications. If there are any questions regarding financial aid, if you'll get in touch with financial aid team. It's actually the new student admin aid app which we had earlier. So also if you end up emailing the financial aid team, we'll make sure that we transfer you over to the right side. Make sure that you understand who you're reaching out to with those questions. Please do not share any personal financial information over the website or chat. So basically, let's say if you have tax documentation or any personal sensitive information, please make sure you're not emailing that to us. You're submitting that within your app or asking us where to submit that information. And then also general information about finances at Minerva. Financial aid awards are determined yearly, and continuing students will reapply every spring for the next academic year. So that means basically, let's say you get in this year, you have financial aid. The next year you will make sure that you submit another financial aid application. So every year you have to reapply. And the beauty of it is you will not have to do College Board once you reapply again. College Board is a one-time thing for our new incoming students. Also, any changes in your family situation must be reported to Minerva's financial aid team, including but not limited to, raises or large bonuses, unemployment, illnesses, emergencies, etc. The cost of attendance figures do not represent all of the costs that will be incurred as a student. Additional costs will include a refundable security deposit, health insurance, flights, visas expenses, and much more. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I will open the floor for questions. If,
Yes.
yeah, if you would
Guys,
like to,
this is this is
call
this
out the
is where
question.
you really need to take advantage of this time here. I'll start reading some questions through the chat. But if you
Mhm.
guys want to ask a question out loud, please do raise your hand. I'll call on you and you can ask these questions. This time is really designed to help you understand the financial aid process, make it accessible, and for you to realize that it's something that's doable as soon as we start applying ourselves, right? Okay, so the first question, Jerome, is what should I do if my guardian receives salary in cash, not in a bank account?
Awesome. That's a great question. So if your guardian receives cash and not in a bank account, also you would submit how much, cash they have or have made for that year. But then you would also, again, write that letter explaining where that cash is coming from. And then we would also like to know, hey, if a large expense was to come up or, anything like that, how would you be able to pay for that? So just providing that information, also the amount, and then that way we can go from there and assess after that.
Fantastic. Malika, you have a question.
Yeah, thank you. I actually have two questions. And the
Hmm.
first is about what if my mother is like unemployed, but the certificate of that may not be ready within this week of the deadline? And like, would it be possible to upload it, attach it later with the email?
That is a great question. So, if I understand correctly, also, just to let you guys know, if you guys have any, super personal questions, please feel free to just email us, and then we can answer that from there. But it sounds like you said your mother is unemployed, but you don't have that certificate yet.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So you would upload all the information that you do have. You would let us know like, hey, mother's unemployed. And then you can, I know the deadline is, I believe, I think it's next week or this week, depending on if you're binding or not. But also just making sure that I believe you have one more week though. You should have one more week. But if that doesn't come in time, then you can let us know the whole situation, and then we can give you more information from there.
All right, thank you. And another one question, please.
Mhm.
What if we also receive government benefits, but we can't provide a certificate? But like, would it be enough to give the statements of our card transactions history?
Yes, that is a great question. Yes, that is exactly what we'll take. So you'll also just explain in the app like, hey, we do not receive any certificate or proof of, making this. But if you include that in the statements, use that highlighter, highlight those, and basically call out like, hey, this is, the government expenses that we received or transactions, and that'll be perfect.
All right, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Right, we've got a couple of questions I see about the parent offer. Maybe we can
Mhm.
go uh, back to that again. First question is, what if a parent offer cannot be made? Is it mandatory? I think here, if we can just talk about what purpose it serves and what to do, like how they
Yeah.
can go about it. Yeah.
That's a great question. No, it is not mandatory. So if once you go in the app and you see the parent offer, um, it's not mandatory. We just really ask for that because we understand that some people can afford to pay something out of pocket. So we just like to know where you are financially for that situation. The purpose it serves is us being able to kind of gauge your financial situation. So, if you select zero or you can't have an offer, then we understand that and then we'll evaluate it from there. So there's no difference between if you can or you can't. It just lets us know kind of where you are financially for us.
Right. Next question is, what is a tax return? So if you had to explain it to someone who's never heard that term, what
Mhm.
is inside a tax return?
Yeah, so every country could be slightly different, but for the most part, inside of a tax return is basically telling at the end of the year, your parents or your guardian or you, as you may work, will get a tax return, and basically that kind of tells you how many taxes were taken out from that previous year, and also how much you made from that previous year. So let's say you make $100,000 in a year. Let's say you were taxed up to, 20%. So you have $20,000 that were taxed. So that basically just kind of give that government documentation that's saying like, hey, this person was employed. It also tells us, if you're single or married, or how those taxes are being, filed, if you have children or not. So basically, it's this one big document that kind of gives us that financial history that we would need to, apply that to your financial aid.
Yeah, right. It's basically the government saying how much you paid the government from your salary.
Mhm. Absolutely. Great question.
Right. And another question is, how does financial information affect their availability? Oh, sorry, ability to get an I-20 on like visa.
Once I believe so, it shouldn't affect it in any way. Once you apply, and if you are admitted into Minerva, then the visa situation would be completely different. I know there are some fees outside of financial aid that visa may require, but that has nothing to do with Minerva's process for financial aid.
Right. So we have another one saying, please give a rough figure for expenses other than tuition costs.
A rough figure for expenses other than
So
tuition.
you had a slide where you mentioned flights, visas, health insurance,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
A rough figure that actually I cannot give. If you can email us, then we can kind of help you gauge your personal expenses. But for instance, because one person may pay maybe $5,000 out of pocket, but that's with the flights, and if you're coming from different parts of the world, so that one I can't really gauge a estimated figure. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is one of them questions where it varies so much because our student body is so diverse and so different.
Absolutely.
If you're going to San Francisco and you live in Canada, the flight is probably going to be fine. But if you're going to Tokyo and you live in Buenos Aires, then that's going to be a very complicated flight as well. Visas change prices depending on the countries you're visiting and the countries you're from. Health insurance is roughly the same for everyone, unless you're choosing your own health insurance, which is something that you can do. So the variation is just too big for us to calculate, but it's not
Absolutely.
extremely difficult for you guys to do that for your own specific cases as well. Right, we have a question about security. How will the information be stored and secured?
Yeah, that's a great question, and you're not the first person to ask that. So, again, this is why we ask students to upload it within the portal. Our portal is, it's our database, so it's protected by that, and it's not like something that is shared between the teams within the university. It's simply just to financial aid. Only financial aid team has access to that, and we have our own training within that allows us to be able to have that documentation and store it without any type of, I guess, leaking or anything of that nature. So it'll all be uploaded within that portal, and that'll be the only place. So it's very important that you do not, send us through email those documentation or anything like that. It's just within the financial aid app.
All right, another question is about the order of the steps for financial aid. So should I complete the CSF's profile first and then proceed to my Minerva financial aid questionnaire, or what's the correct way to do it?
That is a great question. Either or, I would say, preferably the College Board application, the CSS profile, due to the fact that once we view that, we also view the College Board app that you submitted. So you'll need a College Board app ID, and that College Board app ID must be submitted through the Minerva app. So preferably the College Board then, and then the Minerva app, because then you'll have your College Board ID, and then you'll make sure that you can upload that, and then that way we can take a look.
Right. We've got a question about full scholarships. We mentioned in the slides that Minerva does not provide full scholarship, but what is sort of an optimistic view for a student with high financial need?
Yeah, well, high financial aid, for most students that do require, a lot of financial aid, you will get, just basically a higher, I guess, scholarship package, but it just depends on your financial situation. So again, with the three components, you have the work study, you have the loan, then you have your scholarship package, and then you also have your EFC, which is your out of pocket, that you're paying Minerva. And Minerva does have a minimum of that. And, once again, if you have any questions about what the minimum is or anything of that nature, then please email us to, have that information.
All right, guys. So all of the questions I see about that, please email them directly. So a question saying if one of my parents is unemployed, how do I prove that? What documents shall I provide to prove unemployment?
Got it. I said both parents or just one?
I think one.
Oh,
So
just one.
yeah.
Yeah, so there's many situations. So there are times where parents are unemployed. You can, if there is a statement that, provides that, even let's say if it was a year ago or two, you could provide that. If they do not have, a statement like from their, employer that says like, hey, you're no longer employed or anything like that, then you would again submit that letter, that written letter, explaining what the situation. And again, we would rather you over-explain than under-explain. So if they can explain, the situation, where the money is coming from, because at the end of the day, I believe we just want to know where, how your family is still, providing. So if you, have two parents that are unemployed, but, you're still, living day by day, we want to understand, where that funding is coming from. Again, we have many students, in the past may have unemployed parents, but then they have an uncle or an aunt who can, help provide, or any family member. So if you can write that on a written statement and have your parents sign that and, basically saying that, hey, yes, I verify that this is how we're, having income or, going on a day-to-day basis, then that'll work.
Right. I have a good question from Malika again, saying taking into consideration that IDOC comes a week or two after submitting the CSS profile, is it required for us to submit the IDOC within the deadline, or would it be possible to touch it as soon as it comes, even if it surpasses the deadline?
The iDoc. I think I'm not sure what the iDoc is. I don't think the iDoc it has any effects within Minerva, within the Minerva financial aid app, I should say. I don't think
Do you
there's
wanna
that.
do you wanna clarify, Malika? Or was that
Yeah. Sorry, I just knew that iDoc is the part of CSS profile when you
Mhm.
submit your old documents and then you get the iDoc back to you, which, as I know, clarifies and like makes your documents official to send fully.
Got it. Maybe yeah. If you send us an email and kind of explain that, because I believe this would be my first time receiving any questions about the iDoc, because I know from my experience, it's students usually upload the information, and then they have their their College Board ID, and then they upload that, and then we can see everything that they uploaded. Not necessarily the exact documentation, but we can see all the numbers that were provided. So if you can email us, and we can give you further steps from there.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Great question.
we've got we've got a question also saying that we were mentioning the need to detail monthly expenses. Uh, Basically, the question is, if I don't have the specifics right now, but only a general estimates, and I'm running out of time, can I submit general amount now and later send specific itemized with receipts?
It depending on how much information you have within that, if it's clear, like, hey, if you're able to, well, one, translate it into English, we can kind of understand where that is, the general, estimate that you're speaking. But if it's something that, is, very large expense or lower expense or anything like that, we will need to know that information. So, generally, yes, I would say with time, ticking. Again, this is why we emphasize making sure that you're doing financial aid as early as possible and submitting it. But with time, I would say you can submit it, but there is a chance it could be flagged and bounce back to you. So we'll work from there and go from there in terms of the documentation, and hopefully we can get everything done before the deadline.
Right. A next question that I think Lila just answered as well is
Oh,
someone has about 10 transactions a day on average, including small amounts like $1 for a ticket or so. Bank statements for 3 months will have a lot of pages. Do you accept that? Or shall I only show income from work and main costs like home, taxes, etc.?
got it. It's a Lila answered it.
I think so, right? Like the response says we take a lot of pages.
Okay,
If
yeah.
you can
Lila, if you want
summarize, that
to
would be
speak
good.
to that, you can as well.
Yeah, if you guys have, lots and lots of pages for documents, that is totally okay. We want you to provide the best, most comprehensive picture of your situation as possible. If you are able to provide a summary of your documents, that would also help us as well. But we will take lots of pages. If that is what you are able to submit, then that is totally fine.
Awesome.
Right. So the next question is about a job in Minerva. How can they earn money to pay food and transportation?
That's a great question. So we have our work study program. Our work study program consists of many different options and many different types of jobs. So I would say the main part of our work study, the main reasoning we have it is to help students on the day-to-day basis. It's not something that's super comprehensive in terms of you have a hard job and you earn the most amount of money, but it does allow you to pay for those, everyday expenses such as groceries, or, let's say you need to take the train, or you're in San Francisco, and, San Francisco is fairly, kind of expensive. So just being able to, maintain within that, that will be that. In order to be able to be eligible for work study, it must be part of your financial aid package. Not all students get work study, so it's very important that you understand your financial aid package. So some people, get work study, some people don't. Some people do get work study, and some people waive it. So there's many different options within there, but it must be part of your financial aid package. So if you do not have work study in your package, you will not be eligible to receive work study from Minerva.
Yes, exactly. We have a great question as well about having trouble to pay for travel and laptop and initial expenses for accommodation and stuff like that. The question is targeting external scholarship, even outside of Minerva Financial Aid. And the question is yes. The answer is yes. Many options exist. We're actually working on a project that should be completed by December, where we'll share with all applicants a resource space for external financial aid or external scholarship opportunities as well. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, Jerome or Lila?
No, she hit it. That's perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So finding external is also an important part for a lot of people. There's organizations or sponsors or competitions you can win that will earn you some extra money to pay for those initial costs. 100%. Keep up with us as that session will be communicated to you. Um, Again, I think around mid-December. Right. Next question we have is how to prepare for living independently and managing all of her finances on her own. Is it possible for you guys to share a case where you've seen something like that before? Someone who's financing their own education at Minerva.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lila.
Yeah, there are a lot of really, really resourceful students at Minerva, and we are currently working on putting together resources as well for incoming students on how students from perhaps lower income backgrounds have been able to finance their education successfully. So there are, external scholarships that many Minerva students have been able to successfully acquire. But there's also a lot of other things that you can do on top of that that we can provide more insight about if you guys are interested that Minerva students currently have been doing and have been doing very successfully. So it is very possible to acquire more funds on top of your financial aid from external sources. But it is a matter of taking initiative to find those sources. So just keep an eye out for those opportunities.
Absolutely.
Right, guys, I think we've gotten through most of the questions in the chat. We still have a couple of minutes left, so in case you lot still have questions, please do raise your hand, speak out. If not, we'll just continue reading your questions in the chat for a couple of minutes. But I would say it's important for you all to make note of what the financial aid team is saying and basically explain, explain, explain. If you have circumstances you need to disclaim, then do so. Highlight things when necessary, email them, ask questions. At Minerva, we are pretty hardworking and flexible, so we do want to accommodate all circumstances. But we need to see that you're also doing your best to get the documents ready and providing evidence as much as possible.
And then also, Lila, if you would like, can you add the email for the new student so they can have that?
Yes, I will put that in the chat right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, a good question on how can they learn more about the low interest loan? Or can you talk a little bit more about the loan aspect of the financial aid package?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we use Climb Credit Loan. So that is the loan that we usually use. We have the interest rate of 6.5% and an APR of 7.59%. And as we said before, those loans are low interest rate loans. And then let me go back to it. I have it up here for those loan statements. But basically, that those will be repaid basically after you graduate, and then we can talk more about that. But also, we have flyers for you guys. So if you guys were willing to email us and ask more questions about that, then we can also give that to you, and you can kind of get a better gauge of that. But yeah, we go through Climb Credit loans, and those loans are dispersed throughout your time at Minerva. And you do not have to accept those loans. So let's say you get a financial aid package and the loan is part of it. You're more than happy to waive that. And of course, additional, expenses will come. But, I know some people, do not like the loans or take out the loans, and you are definitely okay with doing that as well. So we do not, we not force anyone to take the loan, and we don't force anyone to not take the loan. So it's completely up to you.
Yeah, right. Kanu, question from you.
Hey, yeah, thank you. Super quick. So, for some time, I was doing freelance work, and to be able to do that, I had to set up a corporation and get paid through the corporation, and then I would transfer the money from the corporation to my personal account. So, would you need tax documents of both the corporation and personal tax?
Yeah, so again, as much information as you could provide, I would say definitely from the employer itself or the contractor, to make sure that you have that, and then if you have taxes yourself, then that way we can assess all that information and give you the best scenario we can.
Perfect. Thank you so much. The question is also on the chat. You can skip that. Thanks.
Oh, awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just to
And
clarify
yeah,
super quickly for people who are asking about the CSS fee waiver, I get this question a lot in the new student email. Just to clarify, we do not provide CSS fee waivers under any circumstance at this point. Regardless of whether or not you're an international applicant, we cannot provide that CSS fee waiver.
right. Any other questions unanswered? You're so fast typing, Lila. It's unbelievable.
She's doing a great job.
I'm not even through reading the question, and there's already a full paragraph response. It's insane. I'm very impressed.
Hopefully everyone's questions got answered. But again, if anyone does have anything that comes up, feel free to email the new student aid at Minerva edu email. I'm looking at that every single day. So I will always get back to you guys if you have any questions pertaining to anything we talked about in today's presentation.
Exactly. Right. Any last questions from you guys before we close off for today?
Oh, I saw a question. So it says, do we need to officially translate the documents that are not in English? No, they do not officially have to be translated, but if you could use, Google Translate, we take the unofficial translation as well. So whatever translation works, please make sure that you look over the translation once you do translate it, whether you use AI, Google, or anything like that. Please make sure you look over it to make sure it's correct. And then that way it's been, we can go from there and assess that. So no, we do not require official translations.
Yeah, Right, guys, thank you so much for coming. Oh, Malika, last question.
Yeah, sorry, the last question. It's quick. So, is it correct that we should submit the financial aid form from Minerva after we send the CSS profile because they require us to get the ID from CSS profile, or should be like in one time submitted?
Yeah, I mean, well, submit everything as soon as possible, but I would say we say the CSS profile due to the fact that you'll need that for the Minerva app. So there have been times where students submit their Minerva app first and then come back and submit the CSS ID, but just due to it kind of it's backwards just due to the fact that in order for us to see like, hey, we need to review your financial aid application, you need to fully submit your financial aid application. So if you fully submit it and then you don't have your CSS ID, it'll, then get flagged and then we'll require you to, we'll open that for you and then, you'll enter the ID. So you can see kind of why we would rather you have your ID first than submit that Minerva app. That way you can, fully have everything. But, if for some reason you need to submit the Minerva app before the CSS profile, that's totally fine as well.
All right, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Right, guys. So, quick takeaways: submit as much evidence as you can. If there are circumstances that don't allow you to do that, reach out. There's mostly a solution for every situation or a workaround, but you need to be communicating with us, right? The other thing is this session was very condensed and we packed a whole lot of information for you in very little time. So don't be afraid to ask questions again, to email us. We'll also be sending out the recording. So in case you need to, you can watch the recording back in half speed. But anything you need, we're here to help. And just reach out to us. Hopefully this session was informative to all of you. But yeah, just don't keep questions inside. Be sure that you're getting questions answered. And thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, for your attention. Hope to see you soon as Minerva students. Have a
Absolutely.
great start to the week.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you all.
Bye bye. Thank you.